Alrighty then. Okay, let me get this all set here. All right, hold on for a second. Just getting the tablet and the phone set here. All right, hello Sonia. Let's turn that down. Okay, if you look down at the palette here, I just have titanium white, cad red, phthalo green, Prussian blue. Okay, we're gonna play around with just neutral colors. So we're gonna make gray. All right, I know everyone who's somewhat into art or veteran in art, beginner in art, knows black and white makes gray, but you can make gray out of other colors. All right, there's warm grays, cool grays. Gray, the color of gray, is a neutral color, meaning you can put other colors in it. It's very color friendly. All right, okay, you can vary the hue or the intensity of that gray also. All right, so the scene I'm going to do, this is 16 by 20 cardboard, watercolor paper glued to a foam board. All right, I was going to go and buy some more foam board because I made smaller pieces for my tutorials, but I didn't feel like really going out. It is still pretty early. I can always just take a buzz out there and go get them. Hello Jessica, I see you. So yeah, we're gonna get right on to it here. I just refreshed my page. It just came back good. All right, let's see what I got here. Let's clear that real fast. All right, we'll get right on to it. I'll take a palette knife. So the palette knife is pretty good for mixing colors, and we're just gonna take a little bit of this green here. We'll put it right here in the center. Take a little bit of red. Now, the intensity, how strong you want the gray, is entirely up to you. So what's going to happen when you put two opposite colors together is that they'll cancel each other out, turn kind of brownish. And then with that, you start to build your gray when you add the white. Now these two colors, turn them, cancel each other out. It almost looks black. Okay. Also depends on the variety of green or red that you use. Also, it makes a difference. Yes. Okay. Now, as you see, this is fairly dark. This will make a great mountain mix. And remember the colors. This is phthalo green and cat red. Okay, I'm just wiping off my palette knife. I got a beach towel on my side. I'm gonna take a little touch of white here. Okay, and I'm gonna put it in there just to gray it out. And as you see, it starts to turn kind of on the gray side. And the intensity of the gray is entirely up to you. And you see I did not use a lot of that dark mix. I'm going to end up using it anyway because of what I'm going to use it for. Okay. But I do like that. I'm going to use the rest here and see what hue we're going to get. It's going to get darker than what you see here. And I just mix it up here really good. It's a little dark, so I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. Just get a little more white, pop it in there. And I need plenty of this mix anyway. And you can see it's a very nice gray. All right, it's not the black and white gray. Okay. Like I say, neutral colors like this, it's a very inviting color. So you can put other colors into it, you know, if you would like. All right. Okay. This mix seems to do form well. And I'm going to try to gather up a little pile of it there. All right. Okay, dokie. Hopefully that should be enough. If not, it's only 3 colors. So we're going to get a tree line going here. All right. I'm going to pick a sponge. Yes. I got a variety of sponges here. And I think I like this one. I like this one because of its leafy type shape. I'm going to wet the sponge. I take the sponges and I just cut them to whatever size I want, or I just get smaller sponges. These sponges are quite a few years old, but you can always use them again and again and again. Okay. And I'm going to do a batch of deciduous trees, leafy trees. Okay. And they're going to be back here. All right. All right. And I'll just take my paint and just dip it fairly decently into the paint. All right. And I would like to start with very interesting shapes. So I'll go up at the top, because you want to at least make them look like a bird can fly through these guys. And so really, as of right now, I'm just kind of interested in the tops of the trees. Make some a little low, a little high, you know, thicken some of the brush. Turn the sponge around, you get different types of shapes going on there. Bring some a little lower, a little higher. It's all right. Get some more of this paint. Now, if the paint's a little thick or it starts to dry, you can always add a touch of water to it, thin it up just a little bit. No glycerin or anything, just water right now. If it gets to that. It may or may not, I don't know. I'll come down a little bit. Depends on how far I want the tree line to go. I'll turn the brush around, give me some extra little touches here. I'll bring this up there a little bit. Then I'll start bringing it down a little bit. Like I say, it depends on how far down I want to go with it. I'm going to dip my sponge into a little bit of water just to loosen up this paint I got here. Just a little bit there. And then I'll continue to work my way down with it. I got my tree shapes, the outside tree shapes. I can go a little thicker down here. And I'll get it even thicker. I'll just flat out just paint it the color I need. Come down here with it a little bit. With using a sponge, you can vary the intensity, the denseness of your leaves. Is really up to you. Okay, bring it right to the edge there. All right. The reason why I'm using water instead of glycerin is because I want this stuff to dry. If you use glycerin, depending on how much glycerin you use, hello Rosemary. Yeah, I'm reading your text, Jessica. I hear you, 3 to 5 sponges. Depending on, what was I saying here? On your it'll get back to me. I'm gonna wet my 3/4 inch brush here. Dry it off. And I wet the brush just to get the bristles nice and loose here. Okay, all right. Once again, this is not enough. I'm gonna mix some more. So I'm going back, I'm gonna use a brush, back into my phthalo green, equal amount of red, more or less. Stir it around, get it pretty dark. Slap some of that white in there. grayed up a bit. Okay. Now, if it's a little bit lighter than before, you just add some more of the other two colors, cancel them out, put them in there. Okay. That's got a little bit red in it. Let's get some more green, slap some green in there. Cancel that out a little bit. Okay, something like that. Make sure I get it off my brush onto the palette. I believe that's it. Let's see. A little dark. Add some white. Lighten it up a little. Let's try that out. That'll work. And I'll start getting some stuff a little solid. Turn it around here. A little even on the bottom, get kind of a shoreline thing going. That's all. Then I'll come here and I'll block in some of this here. Get some thickness of shrubberies going. Some of it's a little higher, some of it's a little lower. All depends on what you're looking for. Okay. When it all dries, it kind of looks like all of one color anyway, so it's okay. Like I say, gray is a very welcoming color. It invites all the colors in there. Okay, all right. All right, let me clean off this brush. So we got kind of a little cute, somewhat of a shoreline going right up in here. All right. Okay. Now, I got this, well, before I even do that or go into that, let's take that sponge again. Let me see if I got enough to do this, because it doesn't really take too much color. Let me just gather what I have here. All right. Put it right there. Now that's a little on the light side. So let's beef that up a little bit. Let's bring some more red and green in there. And just mix it up real quick. Another touch of red to darken it. Because you really want it to cancel out and get that almost brownish look to it. Pop a little white in there, lighten that back up. A little white at a time. I'm not necessarily looking for the same exact hue of gray, but gray nonetheless. That will probably work for me here. I might want that a touch darker. So let's take a little bit of that and put it right there. I want that a shade darker. I ran out of the green, and that's okay. We get another little dot of green here. I just want to darken that batch of gray up a little bit, just a little bit. So get a little bit of green, slap it in there. This is a good way for you to practice your color mixing also. Throw a little red in there. As you see, with every swipe that comes, it just makes it darker and darker. That might work for what I'm looking for. That might do it. Okay. And it's just another hue of gray. Okay, I'm going back into my little sponge here. I'm gonna just use a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm gonna go underneath here and give the appearance of, you know, the trees, more or less, like a little reflection. I'm gonna get a little bit of water, loosen that up. I only need a little bit on the sponge. And the more water you add, the lighter the touch. You don't need it to be too overbearing. Okay, and you just want to cast a little reflection. See? Just like that. So as I'm looking at it here, kind of good here. All right. You don't have to get it super exact. Okay. Not at this point. Do I paint the whole thing white at first? No. 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 I didn't add anything on this board. It's just a regular watercolor paper. And I didn't primer it or anything. Nope, just the regular watercolor paper. That's it. Okay, once again I used just green and red. Two colors are complementary colors. They're on the opposite sides of the color wheel of each other, and just makes a little white, and it turns into these various grays here. All right, okay, now I do have this lighter gray here. You can see the two differences here. Okay. All right. Now I can, as of right now, I'll wait a few seconds. I can get some, well, let's just take some of this right now. Hold on. I don't know if I can get away with it or not. It might not be enough. I don't think it's enough, so I won't even bother. But I'll wait for this to dry a little bit. As I'm waiting for it to dry, let's go into, let's get I'll try one of these guys. And this is just a beat down flat brush. It's a number 8 flat. I'll show it to you. And I'll show you down here in the smaller camera. You see the bristles kind of spread out. We'll play with this for a second. Put it in the bristles. Let's get a little bit of water. Let's loosen that up. It's a lighter gray. And I'll put some little details of it's actually not white enough, so I'll add some white to that. It's not bright enough, so it just makes it a lighter gray. Let's get a little water. Let's thin that up a little. A thin paint sticks to a thick paint. All right, so we're gonna thin it up, mash these brushes a little bit, and a very delicate touch, light touch. And we'll add some semblance of I don't want to get rid of all of the dark, so we'll kind of play around with it. And because I'm using water, these little specks I'm drawing to represent a few leaves and foliage will dry rather quickly. Okay. We'll bring some down to the edge there a little bit. I'm not really looking for extreme detail, but you guys will understand as I do this, well, as I go along here, what I'm doing. A lot of it is just me creating a little bit of atmosphere. Okay. turn the brush around a little bit here and there. Something like that. I can put a few of those in here, just in the darker areas. Tap a few in there. But there's a method to my madness. We're gonna have to let this dry a little bit. And it will dry rather quickly because I'm just using water and very thin paint. So acrylic, once again, dries by evaporation. So it will dry rather quickly. All right. Okay. Let's take a smaller palette knife. I'll take a little bit of this white or this light gray. Little swipe across, nothing serious. And I'll kind of throw in a few. Put some up here a little bit. All right. I'll just throw on a few here and there. Some are way up in the air, some are down below, some are gathered closer together, some are not. Up to you. This is your world, your scene. Do what you feel. Pop some way up there a little bit. Put some back here. Okay. I can pretty much do a little bit of that down below. Just mirror it a little bit. Usually where you see a lot of this dark gray on the bottom, you can kind of add them in there, here and there. All right. And once again, when doing something like this, just let it dry. You must let it totally dry. So I'll be chatting, chewing the fat with you guys a little bit while this stuff does this drying thing. Okay. And this is 2-inch wide tape here. That's all, just to mark the land, whatnot. Okay. All right. Once again, there's a method to my madness of why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Okay. All right. So we're going to wait for that to dry a wee bit. Now, as we're waiting for that to dry, we can scrape away this stuff here. It dries fairly quickly. It's drying now. And my room is pretty warm. I had the heater going here. All right. Okay. We're going to take this slightly lighter color here. This gray right here. Okay. We're going to add a slight touch of blue to that gray. Still be gray, but it's got that tinge of blue in it. Just like that. Okay. Still gray, a little more blue in that gray. Okay. All right. Here's a few wet spots, but not really enough to make it any really picture wrecking difference. Okay. All right. Let's go into, I wasn't going to use glycerin, but I'm going to have to use a little bit because I have to have it wet. But for the glycerin, I'm not going to overdo the glycerin here. I'll use this 3/4 inch brush, and we'll just take it and just kind of, just wipe it back and forth here. glycerin is quite reflective. You might be able to see it. Just right in there, like that. And remember, glycerin makes things transparent. Okay, and I'm gonna need it to be a little transparent with this blue-gray. I still want to see the details there, which is why I got the glycerin. And we'll just kind of lightly go right on across with it. As you can see, still gray, but it's also transparent. You can still see the detail underneath. See that? And I'll just wipe it back and forth. No big deal. Come down here and put some of that color there. And I'm just going back and forth. Cover some of that up there. Just like so. Alright, you still see the detail, you still see the tree bark, the trunks. You still see some of that. Alright. Glycerin and water are not the greatest bedfellows. Water will cut through this stuff like a hot knife through butter. Alright. Just wipe that away there. Okay. Let's put this brush back. Let's go back to our palette knife for a second. Let's get a little bit of white. We're going to brighten up just a little spot. Just use white. Lighten that gray up a little bit. Spread it out like that. Cut across just like that. And let's add some water lines. Well, let's add a little bit of land here. So we'll just kind of add just a touch of land there first. Just a thin layer of land. A little swipe across. A little bit of land there, just like that. Then I'll just take it and we'll add slight little water lines here. Sometimes it's all it takes is a little touch. Aim your knife down far enough to where it kind of leaves a little mark there. The further you're away, the longer the marks go. Okay. As you can see, it doesn't have to be super gaudy or anything. Not gaudy bright. Bright enough though to where you see a little something in there. Now, since I put glycerin here, thin layer, I have to wait a while until that dries up a bit. Okay, so I can't really do anything with that right now. I have to wait for this to totally dry. All right, but that's fine. All right. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I guess I could somewhat, I wasn't going to add it, but I guess since I'm waiting for this to dry, I guess I'll add something back there. Since I'm waiting for it to dry anyway. We're going to utilize more gray. I'm going to just add white to what I have left here. And I'm going to get it extremely light. This is just titanium white. It's just going to lighten up that gray even more. Okay. Once again, gray, no matter what color you mix to make the gray, it's still a neutral color. All right. I guess this will be fine enough. Let's do it with we'll do it with a brush. Okay. I'll get the brush here. I'll get some I wasn't really planning on this part, but I'll just add it because once again, this is out of necessity. I'm just waiting for this to finish drying. So I guess we'll come this far. I really didn't want to put one of these in there yet. Get a little water, thin it out a little bit. And I'll do it about yay far, somewhere around in there. This is thick paint, and I'm using textured paper, so I want it watery, but not too watered to where it's gonna run and leak all over the place. And I'll kind of bring out toward that way. I'll bring this down a little bit. Now this is me painting wet on dry. And I will just lightly fade this out into nothing. Let that paint break. It'd be like it dissolves into pretty much into nothing there. Let it break. And it just looked like atmosphere. Let it trail on, but you don't want it to trail on to the end of the paper. Something like that. Instant atmosphere, looking like that. So that mountain looks miles and miles away. You got me? Okay. And it's gray, it's a lighter gray. And it's kind of what you want. All right. That will dry almost instantly. As I'm looking at the colors here, it's still somewhat reflective, but not as much. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's take a small brush while we're still waiting for this to dry. And let's take some white, titanium white, and let's go into this gray and make it even lighter. Just like that. Just need a little small spot of it. And you see the color shift. All right. Okay. I'm going to use the side of the brush, and we'll have a little fun while we're waiting for things to dry, and we'll just kind of add a little texture to this mountain here. Yeah, a little texture. So it kind of looks like this guy is miles away. So now you're just making different hues of the same color just by adding white. Okay. add too much. Remember, when acrylic dries, it dries flat, so it appears darker. All right. Okie dokie. I think that'll somewhat work. Let's take, once again, I'm just wasting time. All right. Let's take a little blue. We'll put it right here. And we'll throw we'll throw a bird or two in there. And this is just really me. This is the wasting time portion of the painting. So you throw some of these guys in front of the mountain. Like that. Anything that's darker that's flying around still appears a little closer. Okay. Oh, we'll pop one and go in another direction. You see their wingspans are a little large. Okay. All right, we'll take some of this gray. Activate some of this stuff here. And we'll put some lighter ones, right around in here somewhere. These lighter fellows, I'll bunch them kind of together so they'll be noticeable somewhat. And because they're lighter, they're going to appear to be further away. I'll give you an example right here. I'll put a light one right in here. Well, I can't because it's actually too dark. Believe it or not, you won't be able to see that. But I'll show you. Let's put some way over here. Let's kind of put them out here a little bit. And if you paint them all smaller, it appears further away. Okay. Just for an example, I'll just use a little bit of white and I'll show you here. Deliberately put them on the mountain there, because obviously they're not physically on the mountain, but they're further away because they're lighter. Even if I made them the same size, it will appear that these guys are further away back there. Okay, you guys can notice that. If you guys can see that, I'll put one up here. Okay, all right. Hey, Lori, how are you? So, once again, this is just a attempt at me wasting time until all of this kind of dries up here. Okay, you might not be able to tell, but this gray, it has a little bit of blue in it. This is just a mixed gray of red and green, believe it or not, and you just add white to it. And the same thing here. So all of this is just a mix of red and green mixed with white, and it gives you this gray. All these hues are the same color of gray. All right. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Let's get rid of this stuff here. Once again, a metal painting palette knife gets rid of this stuff. This is a glass palette, so you just scrape it away. I don't have to have it perfectly Mr. Clean, but just enough to just get it away. Mix it out of there. All right. Okay. All right. So now that we've done that, why did I do that? Why did I do a painting like this so far? Well, if I choose now, right now, to add glycerin to this, I can, because everything is pretty much more or less dry. Now I can add color. Remember, gray is a neutral color, so you can invite colors into this. You follow me? But right now there's nothing really on here. It's all, you know, kind of dry, and it's a dry board. All right, no color. The glycerin helps the paint move around, makes it transparent, and you can mix colors and whatnot and effects and what. All right, okie dokie then. So we're gonna get a nice thin coat of glycerin. We're gonna put it, why not? We'll just put it all over the place, since most of this is like 98% dry. So I'll take my, actually I do have I don't want that one. I'll use this 2-inch brush here, 2-inch flat brush. I'll go into the glycerin, and all I need is a really thin coat of this stuff. I don't need to overdo it. Okay, and I'll just kind of pop it on there. And since I need such a thin coat, and this is watercolor paper, okay, I'm gonna have to kind of press it on there. And like I said, I need only a thin coat, so I'm kind of really rubbing it in there, get it to trail along. Now, watercolor paper is porous, so this stuff is gonna soak into the paper. All right. You don't necessarily have to take your time with it, just put it right up on there. See, this is why I had to wait for that glycerin to dry, so it doesn't kind of spill into the page. And right down here. Just like that. Okay. The most important part that needs to be covered really is here. And all of that. All right. Let's have some fun. What colors do I want to put in there? Well, yeah. Let's we'll do a semi-transparent. We'll do some brighter colors. So we're gonna play with a little bit of orange here. Definitely semi-transparent orange is. All right, red, not so much. But orange, we can have fun and kind of get away with it. So let's get a little bit of orange. Now orange is semi-transparent, so I can use a chunk of this stuff. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about. Okay, let's bring this orange, who knows? Let's bring the orange somewhere around in here. But check this out. Watch what happens. Orange is semi-transparent, so it's all right. And put it right in there. Okay. Once again, orange is very semi-transparent. Okay. Let me see this. Semi-transparent, so no matter how thick you put it on, you're still gonna get stuff shown right through it, as you can see. All right. I think I'll play with a little bit of yellow ochre. We'll play around with a little bit of yellow ochre, just a little bit here. We're going to take a little bit of yellow ochre. We'll throw the yellow ochre up in here. Yellow ochre and orange are pretty close to each other. I'll take a little bit of the yellow ochre and we'll throw it up around in here somewhere. Something like that. gonna go on the other side. We'll do the same thing up around in this corner. You see how close yellow ochre and orange is. This is why I put the glycerin on so thin, so we can shift and move this color around. And now I'm just using very light touches with the brush. Okay. And you can see what's happening there. We're gonna go into a red now. Careful with this red. Red is very staining and very powerful. I only use the corner of the red to put it on here because red is very strong. Now I keep blending away at it. Now my room is very warm, so the glycerin is going to evaporate rather quickly. Okay. And do your X strokes if you can. Another little corner of orange, and I mean just a corner of orange. And move that stuff around. You can blend using the same brush. It's just going many times over it just to get the streaks out. A lot of X strokes there. Crisscross, crisscross, crisscross strokes. Yeah, I'll bring some of that red down here too. I'm doing that on purpose. Just like that. Come on down here. We'll bring some of that love down this way. Okay. I think I still want some stuff to be a little bit alive, so let's take some regular cad yellow, which once again is extremely transparent. This is more transparent than any other color up here. All right. I still got glycerin up there, so this color is going to travel. Now what yellow is going to do, this bright yellow, it's just going to bump up whatever the hints and tones that are in there. It's going to beef it right up. Okay, so if I want the bottom here to be kind of awake a little more, just add that bright yellow. Come into the water a little bit, just add it. And it kind of wakes that color up a little bit. Gives you a nice little yellow spot in there. So I'll put it right into that yellow ochre, a little bit into that orange. Just like that, kind of. And once again, I will go over it and over it just to get rid of the streaks, stroke marks. Okay. And I beef up some of this red in here too, just by using that yellow. Look what the yellow does. See that? Try not to rub it too hard. Now, if you don't have the confidence to do it, then use a you can use a softer brush. If you feel you must. Okay. Pop some yellow in that corner, really kind of wake it up there. And once again, because I can feel it getting a little tacky, just keep rubbing away at it. Make the strokes a little long, flatten out some of that color. And this is what transparent colors and that gray will do for you. Okay. All right. Hey, Billy. Now be careful not to really add any white to this. White leaves a chalky residue. All right, so you don't really need the white in there. All right, now that I've got that, and like I say, gray is a very inviting color, so you got all sorts of mixture of brighter colors in here. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, still got a little slick there. That's okay. All right, let's take what I got left of the yellow. We'll put it here. We'll get a little bit of this ochre, and we'll put the ochre in there too, like that. Mix it in there, rub it in there kind of quickly. Go on the other side, just blend it into that yellow real fast. All right, we got a little orange. We'll pop the orange in there, right in here like this. Beef that orange up a little bit there. What else we got? Red on the side. Pop that red in there, just like that. And kind of lightly cruise it up in there. Mix it red in there, just like that. Mix it in there. I forgot that I did put glycerin there. I did put a little glycerin in that. I'm just gonna get a little touch of yellow. Yellow's very transparent. And what it'll do is just beef up what you already got in there. And you come on all the side, beef it up there. Okay. Like so. Okay. Wisp it a little bit to the left. Wisp it a little bit to the right. Just get some little bit of trails in there, I think, like that. I think I want my red to be just a tad bit darker than back there. And then I'll wisp it that way. Just a little darker. Then I take it and I'll wisp it a little bit in there. brush here. Okay, let's peel apart where the land is here. Take it right apart there. There we go. Okay, so we got our land, our little bit of our water back there, and all of that good stuff. Throw that in the garbage. Okay. Got a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of yellow ochre, still somewhat wet. It's all good. We're gonna add a little bit of blue to that. And we'll kind of make a quick green in here. Probably a little darker than that though. Maybe a little pinch of red, and we'll deepen that green a little bit. Brown it up a slight bit. Not much red to change this color. I do have an art auction coming up, not this Friday, but next Friday. I don't think that's enough green to cover what I got here. So let's use some more phthalo green. Let's add a little bit of blue to that. Just a little more color. I think that's dark enough too. That might work. I still feel like adding a little red to that, but we'll see. All right, and what I'm gonna do right now is just block in the color. All right. That might not be enough. I'm gonna add some water to it to thin it up a little bit, but that might not be enough. We'll see. Nothing special, just blocking in color right now. Doesn't matter how pretty you make it look because it's going to be grass and such under this anyway. I'm just blocking in color. And I don't have enough color. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. But that's all right. I'll just mix some more. It's all good. It don't matter. Okay, anyway, blocked it in. Need some more color, of course. Oh, of course. So, for the other side, little phthalo. We're gonna mix plenty of it. A little blue. All right, we'll just mix that in there real quick. That's even darker than what I put. Okay. Much darker, but that's okay. We're gonna need it dark anyway. So that's all right. when you mask stuff and you start putting it in, your masked material might start to grow on you, and that's okay. That's all right. Let it grow. As long as it grows a little bit, not a lot of it, you'll be all right. It's okay. Now what I'm putting on over here on the right hand side is actually just pure paint. There's no glycerin, no water or anything. This is just pure paint. And I can water it down just a little bit. I'll just water the brush and just borrow the paint from up here. Just block it in. And that's basically all I'm doing. I'm gonna loosen up this paint here and I'll just make it travel over here. And that's all I'm doing, is really blocking in this stuff. Doesn't have to be pretty yet. Blocking in color. Keep making these mistakes and it's gonna get bigger and bigger. All right, something like that. It's all right. I do like this shade of green though. I think it's cool. Okay, definitely much darker than the other side. But we can solve that real fast and just have it match over here. Now, when you have your foreground this dark and you got something bright in there, it just sticks out that much more. And once again, there's a method to my madness of why I did the coloring the way I did. All right. I know there's a few people here, but nobody's talking. Everybody's pretty quiet. Block it all in there. There we go. Block it right in. Okay, so it's all blocked in. Okay. All right. Let's take a flat 1-inch brush. We're going to dip into a little bit of well, I guess I can get away with just a little touch of this white into this green here. We'll get a little bit of water. We'll thin it out a little bit. Just lighten it up a little. All right, that should be okay. And a very light touch, and we'll start adding a little bit of grass texture in there. Tap it in there. Tap those patterns in there. Another swipe of white in there. Not necessarily getting rid of all that white, or I mean all that darkness, excuse me. Let's block that in, just like that. There. little more white. Touch of phthalo. Little touch of blue. Yeah, the hour back has thrown him off a little bit. He probably has to use the bathroom. A little bit of green, a little bit of that blue. Throw it in there. A little swath of white. Brighten it up a little bit. Get a little touch of water. Loosen that paint just a little bit. Okie dokie. We're going to come on the other side. I'll move this over a little bit. All right, and we're going to essentially do the same exact thing. Come up here and add our texture to our grass, our little hill area there. As you see, it's not overly bright. Doesn't need to be as of yet. Kind of blends into that color a little bit. But we'll brighten up things in a tad. All right. So still looking at it here, I think I can still add some more a little bit of green, a little bit of white here. Just pure water, or just pure paint, not much water. And we'll come from here. Hey Mew Mew, it's been a minute. How are you? We're gonna work on the other side now. Hopefully the focus is working for you guys here. You put the highlights where you feel it's needed. Don't cover everything. Try not to make them look mechanical. Okay. Just cleaning off the brush. I've been all right, Mew. Taking it easy, really. I've been okay. The vet trip went well. He got his little tail tumor removed, and of course it was extremely veiny, so he bled a lot. And under that medication, he was really out of it. So that kind of messed him up a little bit. But other than that, he was all right. You know, nothing more humorous to see a high dog. Okay, I think I'm gonna put some rocks in there. I'm gonna take that very small thin brush that I had before. As soon as I remove my paint brushes from rolling into the paint. Here, just put a couple of these guys away. Get them out of my way. Bear with me 1 second while I put some of these bigger brushes away. And I can get a hold of my flat brush. Okay. We'll throw some rocks in there real quick. So a little bit of red. We can put it right here by the green. It doesn't matter. A little red, a little blue is going to turn to deep purple. Mix it with that green, it might turn kind of blackish. All depends on how much of one color I have. Right now it's like a maroonish color, so we'll throw the green in there. It'll darken it right up. Once you get used to a color mix, you'll know what colors to mix to make what and all of that. Okay, we'll throw some rocks in there. When it deals with the water, the rocks are kind of here. Like, say right here, keep it flat there, but the rocks can kind of, you know, and if they're on the hill or whatever, they're kind of angled. They come down at an angle, come straight, and go right into the water there. And obviously, the closer they get to you, the bigger they get. Okay. Remember, rocks in the water are flat. Okay. Against the water, they're kind of flat there. All right. Now, put a nice size one right in here like this. Remember, the bottom, they're pretty flat. You can have it go up here. You can have it go as far in as you want, but it's always at some weird angle like that. All right. I'll put a little one right here. Maybe one right up in here. Got a pebbles. Once you start putting pebbles in it like this, then the water's not that deep. Okay, that's another little tip for you. So you can actually, you know, it's up to you how big, you know, how, it depends on how deep you want the water. It's really up to you. If you put pebbles coming out of it, then the water really isn't that deep now, is it? Now if you see, you know, little pebbles poking through. All right. Let's cover up that mark there with a rock. Let's put a nice size one here, just kind of disrupt there. Let's get rid of it. Now, this is like a very deep purple, but it appears black. It's not black. Definitely purple. Okay. But you're not going to tell because of all your surrounding colors there. You can't really tell that it's purple. Your eye kind of compensates for all of it. Okay. Okay. Let's let those rocks tack up for a bit, okay? All right. Let's take what we have here, if it's still wet, And most of it still is wet. Put it right here. Just a chunk of red, put it in there, deepen it, that color for a minute. Keep going, keep making it deep. It's gonna turn into a gray purple. Slap some blue in there. Very deep mauve that I'm not looking for. That's just because of the color choices I have. A lot of it has to do with that phthalo green, but that is okay. We're going to change things up a little bit here. So hold on, bear with me 1 minute, because I just tore up a cap. Thank God I got a whole bunch of other ones. I tend to do that with these, the Grumbacher caps. Don't tend to, I'll put a little bit of it here. This is a alizarin crimson. I'll put some alizarin crimson in that, which is just a very deep red. Sometimes my caps tear at the plastic part, and so I learned to keep the caps when I'm when I get rid of a tube, or when I empty out a tube. There we go. So that Prussian blue and that alizarin crimson will really deepen up things here. And I need plenty of it, so I'm mixing it all in there. Let that blue and red work together for a minute there. Okay, very, very deep purple. There. Okie dokie. I still want it darker than that. So, I like the intensity of it, but it's still too purple. Therefore, excuse my hand. Oh, God, I forget. This thick stuff, you have to shake the paint right down to the bottom. Well, I'll put it down here, out of my way a little bit. All right. But you can't lay the lid upside down, because once you open it, it just explodes because of the heat. A little bit of black in that. That's too much. Just a little bit. Deepen it up, deepen that color up a little bit. There. Now the reason why I'm adding black to this, just to darken what I have. I got more than enough of it. That'll work. It's not black, it's not totally purple, but it is a nice mixture of both. But put up against all of this, it's gonna look black, but not a hard black. Okay, let's put some trees in here. I'll use this brush, don't matter at this point. I'm gonna wet the brush here. Okay, the reason why I made a scene like this, it's really for what I'm going to do in the foreground. Well, his name is Bluto. B-L-U-T-O. Bluto. He's large and spoiled. Okay, I got plenty of this paint, so. All right, let's set a tree in here. Well, we'll just set one. We'll pop one right here. Now I got plenty of paint, so I'll gradually get the thickness in there that I want. And when you put a tree in, you definitely got to have a kind of a sharp edge to this guy. And I'll let it grow accordingly, depending on how big I want the tree. Nothing but pure paint here. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's kind of, we'll pop one right in here like this. I might have something come downward. Who knows? All right. So we got two there. We'll see later. Let's put a thick one come out up here. As you can see, this purple looks very, very dark. I know part of my camera is hiding some of it, but believe me, it's only the bottom end. You can kind of see it there. Okay. Oh, we'll kind of pop one in here like this. He can be a little thicker, like that. I'm gonna dip into a little water, get this paint a little bit loose here for me. Well, hello, Yvette. Is it going to be a show scene? Show scene or snow scene? Kind of lost me there. It's good to see you. Originally it was, I could still turn it into one, but I did think about it, having it a snow scene. I did think about it, to be honest with you. Okay, we're gonna go into our script liner and some water to get this paint to an inky consistency so I can put the tiny branches in there. When I do trees, I think that's what I like the most, really, is doing the tiny branches. Very simple to do, okay? It's a bunch of Y's, really. And they kind of root off each other. So you can kind of have a, you know, just have a ball with all this stuff. Of course, you know, saying get plenty of water and working with a script liner brush is almost an oxymoron in terms, you know. You can spend a lot of time and just have fun doing these things, making branches all over the place, really. Just have fun. Make them various thicknesses. I'm just dipping into a little water, going into this dark. And just having a little fun here. Oh yeah, the collaboration was great. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. What was interesting is that, you know, you had did yours in oils as I did mine in acrylic. So yeah, it was a ball, and I had fun doing it. I roll my brush. It's such a thin brush. I just roll it in the paint, make a whole bunch of just wiggly, wide curve thingies. going all over the place. Thicken this branch up a little bit there, like that. And we'll come on the other side and bring some curve in that way. I really enjoy doing I don't do too many of these with all these branches and stuff. I love doing them. You can really just have a ball and go all out with them. Be creative with it. Have one loop around, go the opposite direction there, like that. You know, just make them interesting and try to make them natural as well. Since they're so dark, you can kind of paint through the other trees. Your mind will create its own path with these guys. So don't worry about anything like that. You know, your eye will see branches like all over the place, you know. Just have a fella go right in the opposite direction, just going downward like this. Going down there like that. I seen your message. You said you still have people commenting on it. Well, I think that's a good thing. Well, I think that's awesome, actually. This branch is way thicker. There we go. Give him something. Okay. Boy, that's a lot of dark there. I might have to take advantage of that. Anyway, let's take our small brush one more time and let's start shading in those rocks, shall we? And basically, I'll just take a little bit of this titanium white and we'll go into this dark mix and see what we got here. Nice purple, but I don't want purple. Let's blacken it and let's get some gray going there like that. That's good right there. Take a little bit of white, go in there and lighten up that gray just a little bit there. There we go. Now this gray has that little touch of purple up in there, which is fine. More like a dry brush deal. I'm wiping some of this paint off of the brush, believe it or not. Yeah, you guys can see. You guys can see it. And we'll just kind of use the side of the brush there, and we're gonna scumble in some interesting rock patterns there going. Like that. See, I don't have to have them super gaudy bright. Because you can, even though they're tiny little rocks, at least from this vantage point, they're tiny little guys. You're still gonna build your gradual look. All right. Hey, Diana, how are you? No, I do not stream every day. It may appear so, but I go in little stints. If my schedule is pretty much clear and I don't have to do too much during the day, then I'll come on at a pretty decent time, and then I'll paint. Yeah, so it's usually when my schedule kind of permits. And if I'm pretty clear for the day, then yeah, I'll come on and I'll paint something. The only time you haven't seen me paint really in any kind of regularity is when I was really sick. I couldn't do anything and I couldn't even lift the brush. So I did a whole lot of YouTube watching and sitting around. I was an avid TV watcher, which grew old real fast. I'm dipping into some titanium white here. I'm gonna make that same gray that you can see down here. See the color difference? Okay. And let's once again, I'm just using the side of the brush to get these interesting little highlight marks there. The brighter you go with your highlights, the less of it you really need. Okay. I'll go back into it, get some more. I'm just utilizing the side of the brush. This painting actually went through a few transformations in my mind, because this was going to be kind of like a waterfall, but I just changed it. And yes, it was going to be a snow scene. I could still transform it into a snow scene. It was going to start out to be a snow scene actually, but I changed my mind in midstream. Yep, you guys can still see that. If I make an error like that, that won't even be noticeable when it's done. So if you find yourself painting it and you get distracted or you make a little flub, please don't panic. Don't call the 1-800 help me painter hotline. You'll be okay. There's ways to correct it. When you shade and highlight rocks, remember that important, the dark area is just as important. Okay, just as important as your highlighted area. All right. Hey Mark, I see you. How you doing? Just as important. Okay. All right. We'll play around with this. I'll get a little bit of vegetable glycerin. I'll just come out here with it. It's below the camera, so that wouldn't make no good, now would it? Let's go above the camera. We'll put it right here. I'll get some of this purple black mix here, just like this. All right, and we'll get a little bit of reflection on the rocks. On the vegetable glycerin will make your paint transparent, and we'll just kind of pop in some. I'll make it overlap a little bit like that. If you wanted to travel a little bit, you either use your finger or whatever. It's up to you. Because of the glycerin, it'll stay wet for a little while, and you can get it to, go float to the left, float to the right. It's really up to you. All right. So, yeah, Diana, the Help Me Painter hotline, when people make an error, it's all right. It can be corrected. It can be corrected. But people do, when they find they mess up or something, they tend to really panic, freak right out. And it's okay. It's not that serious. You guys will be all right, you know. All right, let's get a little more of this gray color. Let's get a little more, just a touch of vegetable glycerin. When you deal with acrylic paint, vegetable glycerin is water soluble. A little dab would do you. Trust me. A little dab would do you. Okay. It makes your paint, it makes your acrylic paint wet a lot longer. And you can manipulate it and whatnot. So it's really up to you how you want to do whatever affects you. Set your mind to doing. I'll take a soft little bristle brush like this, and I'll just kind of bring it down a little bit. It might have dried already. No, well, a little bit. A little bit. I'll probably end up darkening some of these, but it's all right. As for right now, I'm just gonna drag some of this down. Or I could just use my finger and do the same thing. Just drag it down. I can go back and darken what I'm doing here. And if I don't want to use the glycerin, I don't have to. I've gotten the path there. Or I can just do one of these numbers and just make the water lines like this. Either way. But for whatever you do, keep your water lines horizontal, all right? Sometimes I'll do both. If I feel one doesn't work and the other one does, and I'll do the other way. I will add the little separation lines from the rock in the reflection. All that little cutesy detail stuff. Mark is an oil painter, Diana, portraits and whatnot, all sorts of stuff. The last portrait I did was Eddie Van Halen memorial portrait. It was him, his overalls, and his guitar. Those bright red overalls and that equally bright red striped guitar. Now, the highlight rocks have died down a bit, so I'm going to go back and make it a little brighter. Still going to be contaminated with this gray. The gray that I used is not the typical black and white that I did not do. It was blue and red, or green and red, excuse me. I'm not going to leave those trees bare either. The only time I use black in this painting is for the trees, and they're not. It's not fully black. It's alizarin crimson and phthalo green, and you know, I got all sorts of stuff in there. So it's not a true black at all. Not in the wee bit. Okay, so we got our little rocks in there. All right, okay. Let's take a little, now we'll take this little palette knife. Okay, let's get rid of some of this. I don't need a lot of this. Scrape that away. Let's get rid of some of that purple too. I might need bits of this for the leaves and such, but not none of this loose stuff. We'll get rid of this. Scrape it away. Get rid of it. We'll clean some of this up here. Just give me a nice uncontaminated mixing area, just a little bit. This is a glass palette. Stuff just kind of scrapes right up. Be done with it. Windex or rubbing alcohol gets this acrylic paint red up like nothing. Okay. Well, hold on. Didn't clean my palette knife off good enough. All right, let's get a little bit of this white. We'll just spread it out here. Cut across. All right, and we'll just do a little love tap here. Get rid of it. Bring it out there a little bit. Now that was way too much of a but that's all right. Get rid of it. Get some water lines in there a little bit. So we'll come in, we'll play around with some stuff in here. It's good to let your water lines break up a wee bit too. Oh, I'll add a few. I'll kind of pop some in here like this. The white adds a nice little flash to it there. Not too big back here. The more you add, the more turbulent your water will seem. So be careful how many you put there. All right. All right, let's put a few bushes and greenery in there. Okay, let's use I could have used I'll use this. Who knows what I'll use. It's too big. I could, I could use the corner of this. Why not? We'll use the corner of this thing. I'm gonna use this same super dark color. I'll just use the corner. I'll just tap in the corner of this guy. And we'll just put, you guys should be able to see them both. And we'll just kind of put some, well, before I do that, let's set this here for 1 second. Before I even attempt that, let's do something else while I'm thinking about it. Let's take this white. Let's take a little bit of this black. Yeah, let's grade up a little bit here. All right. And we'll grade up a little. I'm gonna use the side of the brush. Okay. All right, let's watch and see what I'm gonna do here. Okay. Since the trees are already dark, might as well take advantage of it, and we'll slap some birch trees in here. Just kind of. And we're going to come up here and do the same thing. And basically, I'm just going to skip a few spots in there. And I'm still using really the side of the brush. Come on the other side a little bit. Hey, travel dreamer. Yeah, they're fun to do. They're pretty cool. I'm playing around with not direct white. It's actually gray. And so I'm just having a little fun. Back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, let's make him a birch tree too. Come in the middle a little bit, come on the outside. Skip a little bit, come on outside. Turn him around here. And I'm not gonna paint all of it, just in bits and pieces. Okay. I do turn the brush around. I'll get somewhere on the tip, right on the edge of the brush, as soon as I get it flat enough there. Play around with a few edges there, just to be enough where you can see them. All right. At least this side has a couple of them. I might put maybe one or two on the other side. Maybe they're usually in pairs anyway, but maybe over here we'll get some guys here. No problem, you. Once again, I'm having an art auction, not this Friday, but next Friday at, I think it's 6:30. It's in the community section here on YouTube, but it's also pinned to my Facebook page. So we'll just put a couple over here. Little birch trees. The other ones we'll just, yeah. We'll take a little bit of this alizarin crimson. We'll gray it out there. Okay. We'll get some regular bark trees going here. I probably could brighten it just a little bit. Using the side of the brush. This is make sure my head isn't totally in the way. I'll move this over a little bit there for you. All right, as long as my head isn't totally in the way, I think you guys can see this. The side of the brush gives you interesting textures, as you can see. Okay. Then I'll take the same color, add a touch of white to it. Just a little bit. And once again, very light touch. So give some semblance of some light shade here. You don't need too much highlight. Go back into my grayish color here. This fella in the back here. This guy right here. Get a tad of white. We're going to get a little separation between the two trees here, so we'll just brighten this up a little bit more right up in here. Okay. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. All right, we'll leave that alone. Okay, we'll bring this back. 16 by 20 watercolor paper glued to a foam board. All right. Okay. Remember this guy? We'll go back to the 10 1/4. We'll get some brush, some dark bushes in here. Yeah, we might pop in a bush or two right in here. Very soft touch there. Pop up bush up in here a little bit. Maybe a little something right about in here. Give it a little touch in there. Okay. Well, slap a bush in between these two trees right in here. Right there. Let's pop a little something over here. Let's have him come out a little bit more. Somewhere around in there. Like that. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Brush on the floor. Yes, I did. Or, oh, you're right here. All right, we'll attempt it with you. All right, getting a little bit of this phthalo green here. This little mop. Yeah, essentially it's a mop brush. It's really a makeup brush. We'll darken it a little bit though. Small dab of white. Okay, we'll throw some just like that. They will be much brighter. I will brighten these. Put a little red in there. Let's make them red. Very light touch. And you want to really just tap the patterns on there. Nice, interesting little groupings. Pop them in here a little bit. Oh, we'll pop a little bit of red in here, but it's not that real gaudy red. Nah. We'll go the opposite way here. Brighten it up a little more. And we'll go right here. So we'll make this half a little bit on the bluebell side here. tighten those up a little bit. All right. All right, we're almost there. Let us get, let's get the palette knife. Let's use most of this phthalo blue right in here in this bluish black stuff here. Get some black, put it in there. That should be enough. All right. You know what? Let's give this guy a try. Since I done cut it and I wanted it to be used as such, so let's go up here and let's get some interesting leaf patterns happening here, just like that. Come on out here and bring it out here a little bit. Wet that up a little bit. Once you dip it, it's a light touch like that. You get interesting little tree patterns going on there. Let's go over here on the other side. Little black and yellow. Nice olive green color. Okie dokie. Do I want to use this? Not really. Let me use, I can use the corner of this. Okay. And here we go. So we'll gently pop in some of that green in there. I'm using just the corner. I'm touching the corner with it with a thick bristled brush like this, and I'm going in a little, twisting my arms here and or my wrist, and I'm twisting my wrist. It's more of a tree here, so I'll kind of give it a little slight push there on the side. I'm turning the brush around. I'm going on the slightly going on the outside, not really getting rid of all that dark and not really getting rid of all those colors in between the in between the leaves, in between the branches. Save some of those. Getting more of that color. I'm basically using the corner of the brush, light taps, circular motion. And whatever highlights I choose to use for this, it'll be sparing. So you don't get rid of all the dark you see in there. And believe it or not, I don't have any, well, not too much white left, so get a little bit there. Okay. I'll do a little bit this way. Oh. Now see, I can build little layers of highlight color just by going in between. Okay. A couple of dabs go in between like that. Come in here, add some in there. I'm gonna come in and go on the other side here. come down here a little bit, and then go back up, come on the edge, like so. So you're really careful placing all of that brightness. And I'll come up here like this, because you don't want to kill all of the natural green that you got in there. All right. We got a little tree here. I'll kind of give it a little push. Just like that. I could use some of this down here also. I can kind of give a slight, just a slight push there. Just in a few little spots there. Maybe a couple in between here, down by the water's edge. A couple of bright ones there. Come over here, I'll turn the brush around, get a couple of bright ones over here on this side like that. In between the trees a little bit, put some on the edge there. Crop some up here by the edge, water right here. Maybe a little bit in that corner there like this. See that? Yeah, we'll leave that alone. All right, let's center this here. And I'm looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. Looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. Definitely a more or less open picture, so I think I'm gonna scumble some fog in there just to give it a little more life in the background back there. Let's take this little guy right here. I'll put him down here. I'll take this little fella right here. I'll dip a little bit of white. I'll put it right in here. And a lot of it, I'll just kind of like wipe it off the brush. Okay. I'm gonna wipe some more off on my towel. And I'm gonna lightly, like right in here. I'll just lightly kind of stumble in some fog in there. But you see how it's starting to come? How it's starting to form there. Very light with it. And you're really dry brushing this fog on there. I'm rolling the brush a little bit. Okay. Once again, I get a little bit, just like that, roll it around in this brush. Wipe some off of my brush here. The more you go across it, the brighter it gets. So be careful. I'm kind of traveling along here, just like that. Make a nice little trail there, going across. See, it'll happen for you. Just take your time. Don't rush it. Okay. And we'll put a little fog bank in here too. Little baby one. Right in here. If you're painting a fog bank like this, you need to try to keep it in somewhat of a straight line. So it looks like it's just hovering there. Okay. You don't need too much of it. You see it there. All right. Okay. If you want to kind of more or less slap a little something coming across here. Just be careful. Right up in here. Same premise. You probably end up going a little brighter, but you have to build that stuff right up in here, and it's gonna come right across. All right. But once again, build it slowly. Build it very light. Very light. Because now you're putting bright on top of bright. Okay. You're just scumbling this stuff on there. You're slowly building it in there. Now, go across what you've already done. It'll naturally brighten it up. Bring it on around. It gets brighter. You're just scumbling that brightness right across, a little bit at a time. Every time you pass over it, it just gets brighter and brighter. So just be aware of that while you're going across, especially if you're going from a bright color on top of a bright color. Just scumble away. I'm going to scumble a nice straight line in there. All you need is for your eye to follow a path. You got me? Okay. Very light, because there's not much paint on this brush. And you don't need much paint. Okay. Now I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of that. Make that disappear. Now you guys can see pretty much see the whole thing there. All right. There's trees in front of this. Just rolling its way across. You got the fog bank back here. You got the fogs here. You got your deciduous trees here doing their thing. Okay. The whole back of this, all of these was gray, but it wasn't black and white. It was red and green with white. Phthalo green and cad red with white to make the gray. There's birds and stuff back here. You still see them back there. Okay. Yep, they're still around in there. You can still see that birds can fly through the trees here. They can fly through the trees in here. You still see the all your branches. You still see them in there. I didn't cover up everything. All right. I could have put long, grass in there, but that's not necessary. It's a pretty open and bright scene, which I haven't been doing too many of lately. I think it's still somewhat in focus. I think you guys can see that pretty well. All right. Once again, it is 16 by 20. Watercolor paper. I got large sheets of watercolor paper, the 140 or 150 pound watercolor paper. Whoops. Let's try the other side here. Nope. I forgot I used an X-Acto knife, so I cut through this tape. Yeah, I know I cut through it. Here we go. I've got one more up here. All right, there you go. So, yeah, this is it. Since it is 16 by 20, I do have a black frame. I can show you what it looks like. Is this open? How would I show you guys this thing? Is it open? Is it open? No. But it is 16 by 20. I could show it to you. I thought I had this one open. I got another one. Let me see something here. I guess I can show it to you somewhat like this. Yeah, I can get away with it like that, I think. I think I can show it to you like this without it falling apart. No, maybe not. I would cover. It's got a backing on it that I don't have. Here. Anyway, I got a backing for it, but I'll just do this instead. There you go. Anyway, it would look like that in a frame, minus the white border. I gotta take that backing off of it. Okay. I take the white frame because see, it's got that backing, and I don't want to take that backing off. Let's put this back up there. Hot minute. All right, don't fall. I'll put you down here. I think this one, no, the backing can't come off of this one either. Right. I forgot. Whoops. Anyway, on a brighter colored frame, well, it will look like this. On a brighter colored frame. All right. I think the darker frame would probably give it more justice. It would close the picture in more with the darker frame. But anyway, with a lighter frame, that's what it would look like. 16 by 20. Okay. Like I said, I think the darker frame would probably fit better with it. Anyway, I forgot. I got the backing and stuff on this one too. Let me put this on its right here. I gotta find a better place to put these guys. These guys are a little large. But I'll put this back here where you guys can. No, I guess I had it higher up. It's got tape on the back of it there, so it's not gonna really go too far. It's very light, so it'll just hang there. So, but yeah, the whole process, you guys know how it. Well, those who stuck with it, they know how the whole process went. I just started off with gray, really, gray for the trees reflection in the lake. Well, with the lake, I added a little bit of blue to it. The mountain, same color gray. All right, and I just kind of dry brushed and faded it out. What else? And I had taped all this off, and I taped the sides here, left the water in the background open. Then once the gray stuff was done, I put glycerin all over the place, and then take some yellow ochre, cad yellow, some red, and some orange, and did the whole background. Okay. Then peeled off the tape, added the other stuff. And this was just yellow ochre and red, you know, with the glycerin, and just blended it together. Like I said, this was going to be actually a winter scene. Then this was going to actually be a waterfall, but as you see, all that's changed. So I just decided on a couple of birch trees, some regular deciduous trees, to which I really don't do too many close-up deciduous trees. Every once in a great while. And my paintings aren't usually this bright much either. I don't really tend to do a whole lot of yellows and oranges and reds and whatever. So, you know. Whew. Well, guys, I actually ended the stream at a time I almost usually start at. So, my streams have been ridiculously long. I apologize about that, because this one's going on 2 hours and 30 minutes. Who in the world will stay that long to watch this? But anyway, it's one of these instances I didn't have too much to do. Everything was done, and I really don't want to sit down and be a couch potato, so I decided to just go live and paint something, quote unquote, real quick, and just to do something. So, all right, I did not have the camera that shows my face. It's working and everything. I just chose not to have it on. I think the paint is a little bit more important than my portrait. So, yeah, I like it with the black frame also. Mew Mew. Oh, Diana, I'm sorry. I must have missed you. I think you asked me to hold on for something. But you know, if you happen to catch me on and you got something going on, I don't mind you putting your link down there. Just drop it in there. You got my permission to do so. Same with you, RV. If Bruce got something going on or you got something happening, just throw your link in there. Yeah, I gotta take the big fella out. Let's see, is he laying over there? No, he's probably laying on the other couch. But yeah, I gotta take him out. It's an hour early, but not really. It's like 8:46 in his mind. So, yeah. Learners will watch. Yeah, I hope so. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. As usual, I'll make a thumbnail of this for this video, then I will post this thing in a few minutes after I take a decent picture of it that's actually in focus. That iris is not in focus. And I shall see you when I see you. Take care, guys. Have a good night. And bye-bye.